Shall we start the meeting?
This meeting is being recorded.
Yes.
Good evening, dear Toastmasters and guests. Welcome you all to the Technopark Toastmasters meeting club number 92. Toastmasters International, I am Geeta. I will be the Sergeant at Arms for this meeting. Toastmasters International is a non-profitable organization started by Ralph Smedley to promote public speaking. Under this Toastmasters International comes Technopark Toastmasters Club. What does this club provides us? We provide a supportive and a positive learning experiences in which members are empowered to develop leadership and communication skills, resulting in self-confidence and personal growth. There are certain ground rules which we need to follow during the meeting. Kindly refrain from making any references relating to religion, politics, sex in your speech. Kindly avoid or switch off all noise-making devices, including mobile phones. Avoid cross-talking when someone is speaking. Now, with this, once again, I welcome you all to the Toastmasters meeting number 92. Before handing over the control to VP Education, I would like to invite Dev Balaji in our absence, Jasna, to address this meeting. Dev Balaji is an IT professional and he is motivator in public speaking and very helpful to us. Thank you, and over to you, Dev Balaji.
Thank you, Toastmaster Geeta, for the introduction. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I welcome you all to the meeting number 92 of Technopark Toastmaster Club. Please unmute and give a good round of applause. I call this meeting to order. As Jasna will be joining in bit sometime, I'll be doing the acting president role. And we have one online guest with us, and there is no offline guest. Let me ask our guest Sangeeta to introduce herself to the club.
Yeah, sure. I'll introduce myself. Hope I'm audible to you. Am I?
Yes.
Okay. So, my name is Sangeeta and I'm working as a technical lead in Thoughtline Technologies. Basically, I work for the Europe region and I have a total of 17 years experience in the IT industry. And I'm from Kottayam, but I have settled in Trivandrum. My husband is an entrepreneur. He's running a software firm in Technopark Phase 1. And I have two kids, Jonathan and Gianna. My son is in 6th standard and my daughter is in 3rd standard. And this is the first time I am attending a Toastmasters meeting and I'm really happy to be part of it. And I would like to recommend some of my team members to this club. So I thought, I would join first and then, I'll bring more members to the club. Thank you.
Thank you, Sangeeta. I think you are a most valuable guest for us. We are going to bring 2 more guests. And we have 2 offline guests also here. Like to
So, hey all, I'm Ajay. I was working in Technopark for long 10 years. Now I'm away from the Technopark. I'm working in Bangalore, but I don't work from home. So I don't know what is that you introduce here. So I work for STLC Bank as of now in the software delivery. Basically, I'm in Palakkad, Kerala itself. And I'm curious and excited about the club joining in first day here, first day introduction. So I'll explain, on the way what all things around.
thank you. We have one more guest with us.
Hi everyone, my name is Parvati. I'm a software engineer. I work in Tata Elxsi Toronto. I have been working here for the last 1 year. I'm extremely delighted to be here today.
Thank you for coming. So we'll start with the proceedings. I'll want to tell you a little bit small story, less than 2 minutes. There is a relation between Pongala and our Toastmaster meeting. Any guesses? Or the ingredient used or how you make that fire? There is a analogy or relation between that and India Toastmaster meeting. Any guesses? No? So this is the first time I'm the person I saw a Pongala event. My wife did that. And when we started, and when the fire was about to go down, she added one more stick to it. The more stick or the more firewood she had, it kept the fire burning. Once the fire is about to, go out, she added one more stick to it. I just want to tell that each stick is a member joining our club. So to keep that fire burning in our club meeting, it is very much required, even if it is one stick or two stick. If you keep that fire burning, it will go on and have that big fire with us. So even if there are only two members, we still have to have our meeting. That 2 members will eventually lead to 20 members turning up for a club meeting. Like as you see now, we have close to 7 or 8 offline participants and close to 9 online participants, which is a good participants, I would say. This is because few months back, we also had a meeting where there were only 5 people. So we didn't cancel the meeting, we just kept that fire going. So that is the analogy I want to bring to you. Unfortunately, our G is not here. If that she is there, she would have given some feedback. I think okay, Radhika has joined. Okay, fine. So we'll go to our meeting proceeding. Today's meeting will be conducted by someone who has grown in a leadership role from being president and to be an area director. He's the current area director for area G3, if I'm not wrong. Today he has come up with a very interesting theme called as Once Upon a Time. On seeing with him, I thought it's something related to a Vikram movie, or it's something related to memories or about a college or school life. Don't know what it is. Very excited to know more about it. Please put your hand as I call our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Prakash.
Thank you, Master Dave, for that really nice introduction. Unfortunately, I was not sure what I would be talking, what would be the theme. But you might all have guessed that it's about stories. Before that, for the benefit of the guests, every Toastmasters meeting is divided into 3 segments. In the first segment, we will have our prepared speeches. Then we will move on to table topics where you all get an opportunity to do impromptu speaking. And finally, we will have the evaluation of the entire meeting as well as the individual segments as well as speeches. That's how it is, an individual Toastmasters meeting. And I will be the host for this meeting, the entire meeting. I'll be having a theme, and today's theme is actually about stories. I thought Dave would be picking that up, but he has given me some different ideas for maybe future meetings. So the question, Dave has conveyed a really beautiful message with that story. What stories? Why he perhaps said that we need to have this much members to have the meeting. Come all of us, let us have these kind of meetings. But instead, he chose to tell a story. Right? So that's the beauty of stories actually. We are shaped by stories. The rules, the values, the wisdoms that you have are given to you via stories. Nobody told you to don't lie or be honest. Instead, they told you the story of woodcutter and the eggs. Nobody told you about unity strength. Instead, they told you the story of pigeons and the hunter. So the story is somehow, being part of us, but along the line, we somehow forget everything and we go in different ways, and we maybe chose to give facts, figures, and all those things. We don't connect to that emotional aspect. So that's what I am going to talk about today. Stories. The importance of stories. Not exactly maybe not even the art of storytelling, maybe Dev or Arati would be the right person to talk about the art of storytelling. I'd be basically focusing on the science part of storytelling. Maybe few points, not all the points, couple of points about how you can start crafting your stories, how you can tell your stories, how you need to tell your stories, what kind of stories that you need to tell. That's what we are going to talk about. So I think Radhika is aware of the fact that she is going to be the general evaluator, if I am not correct. Hello, Radhika. Okay, on mute maybe. Radhika, are you on mute?
Yes, I have been informed that I will be the general evaluator, so I'm just looking at the form and the my TAC team members' details. So yes, I'm aware of it now.
Okay, yeah. So we have a slight change in the timer role. So Houston will be taking the timer role, and the other roles are So before getting into the introduction of general evaluation and the evaluation itself, let me ask you one question to the online audience as well as the offline guests. Tell me one speech that you like from anyone of the Toastmasters, our fellow Toastmasters delivered. Anyone? Just one speech. What is the one speech that you liked? Yeah.
The one they've delivered on WhatsApp
Yeah, I was also thinking.
as competition.
Okay, yeah, that's an interesting speech that has given by Dev during our area contest as well as in the division contest as well. Okay, we will come to that speech later. So now let us get into the general evaluation aspect. Like I told you, stories are really powerful. When I joined Toastmasters, I had this problem of we never think about equality, diversity, all those things, right? But a speech, a single speech, somehow had a lot of impact on me. Whenever I think about equality and diversity, that image still comes to my mind. So here we are having a person who is a really good storyteller, a really wonderful, phenomenal public speaker. We have Toastmaster Radhika. Toastmaster Radhika, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Prakash and fellow Toastmasters and guests. Today, my role is to be the general evaluator for the proceedings. So the general evaluator's role is to listen to the session, keenly observe the proceedings. There are a lot of good things, good practices that is happening. And so I will be recording the good practices and also not so good practices where we can improve a lot. So I will be doing the role of a listener, and I'll be improving my listening skills as well in the process. So to achieve this, I have a TAC team with me. The TAC team consists of 3 roles: timer, accounter, and grammarian. As timer, we have Houston Thomas, and so Toastmaster Houston will be explaining the role of the timer to all of you. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster Houston.
Thank you, Toastmaster Radhika. Greetings, Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters and guests. As timer, I will time all these speakers today, which includes prepared speeches, table topics, and evaluation. I will also alert these speakers if the time they have left using a green, yellow, and red card. This denotes specific times remaining for your speech. This will help us to finish our meeting on time. So for table topics, I will show a green card for 1 hour. If it is 1.5, I will show the yellow card. And if it is 2 minutes, I will show the red card. For prepared speeches, 5 minutes, I will show green card. 6 minutes, I'll show the yellow card, and 7 minutes, I'll show the red card. For icebreakers, it is 4 minutes for green card, 5 for yellow card, and 6 for red card. Even for evaluation, it is 2 minutes green card, 2.5 it is yellow card, and 3 minutes it is red card. Thank you, children evaluator, and back to you. Mute.
Radhika, you are on mute.
Thank you, Toastmaster Justine. And the next role is that of an accounder. So to present the accounder role and explain it to you, I would like to invite Dave.
Accountant Srijit, Toastmaster Srijit.
Toastmaster Srijit, please explain the accounder role. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Greeting, Toastmaster Dr. Giri Prakash, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The purpose of accounder is to note words and sounds that are used as a crutch or pause filler by anyone who speaks. During the meeting, I will listen for overused words, including and, well, but, so, and you know. I will also listen to filler sounds, including and, I will also note when a speaker repeats a word or phrase such as I or this means. At the end of the meeting, I will report the number of times that each speaker used these words, expressions. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Srijit. And then we have the next role, the grammarian role. And for that, we have a seasoned Toastmaster, Anoop, here to explain the grammarian role and then announce the word for the day that all of you can use during the session. Over to you, Toastmaster Anoop.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Dear Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters and guests. As the grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all the speakers, listening carefully to the language usages. I'll take note of any improper language as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts that are used during the speeches. As a grammarian, it is also my responsibility to introduce you to the word of the day. Do let me know once you're able to see my screen. The word of the day is Philip. The way it is pronounced is Philip. The meaning of the word is a thing or a person that causes something to improve suddenly. Typical usages are predominantly on what you see on the screen. A cut in interest rates would have given a welcome fillip to the housing market. The athletics win provided a much needed fillip to or for nation pride. The news gave the stock market a big fillip. Now moving on to the quote of the day. I choose this quote from Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam is all of us do not have equal talent, but we have the equal opportunity to develop our talents, and it resonates with why we are all here. So best of luck for all the speakers during the session today. From a grammarian role perspective, the additional things that I would be actually doing is that when it is encouraged that every speaker today uses the the word of the day, and I request the audience to acknowledge that and applaud when the speaker uses the same. I will provide the grammarian's report when called upon during the meeting, along with the report of the usage of the word of the day. Thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster Radhika.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anoop. That definitely brought a fillip to the whole process, and everybody will be using this word in their conversations. I'm hoping to hear this word and the usage during the session. And with that, we are moving back to the next segment. And for that, I would hand over the mic back to Toastmaster of the Day, Prakash.
Thank you, Toastmaster Radhika, for that really nice introduction about general evaluator role as well as all the rules. You will be knowing what we are doing. We will connect the dots towards the end so that you will get an idea. So we are talking about stories. So So what kind of stories do we like? As human beings, we have the tendency to like the rags to riches stories. If I tell you a story about a person who is already poor and he is continuing to be a poor, he wants to hear that. Or if I tell you that they used to lost into his WhatsApp and social media, and he continues to do that even after his mom tells him not to do that. That's not on a story. Nobody wants to hear that, right? There needs to some change. There needs to have a trigger event, which basically helps you to transform into a different person. It can be either even a laid back person changing into an person who is more ordered and so on and so forth, or someone who is maybe not adventurous and he suddenly turns into seek adventurous sports. So these are all the stories that we like. There is a pattern actually, and it starts from one place in one state to another state. This is the story arc. Whenever you tell a story, you need to have that arc. If you don't have that, there is no story. And the critical point in that story arc is the transformation. Something happens that basically changes your perception. That basically completely changes what you are doing and moves it into a different person. So that's what exactly happens with the story that they inform. They use, he was so addicted to social media and WhatsApp, and the ring sound basically helps him to takes up his phone and lost into the conversations. Then he realizes that somehow he is not remembering anything. Even the small things in life he started forgetting. That realization, that trigger event, helps him to come up WhatsApp and social media completely. So if you search there in LinkedIn, you will not be blind. He is active now in WhatsApp because he became a PB. I found it really difficult to connect to him when I was the president. So that's how that transformation needs to happen. So in every story, we need to have that transformation. If there is no transformation, there is no story. It's just a normal thing. So with that, we will be moving to the next segment. That's prepared speeches. Our first speaker, let me call the evaluator first. How many of you know Magesh Das? Okay. How many of you know Birbal? Birbal's actual name was Magesh Das, which I did not know. And Toastmaster Jayant told a really beautiful story one day, and he told us why it is really important to look at the parables for morals and wisdom. Why we should not go after TikToks and LinkedIn stories for motivation. Rather, we could look at these stories that was passed on to us generations after generations to get motivation. So with that, let me invite Dave. Let me invite Toastmaster Jayant. Toastmaster Jayant is the president of UST Toastmasters. So Toastmaster Jayant, would you please explain the speech evaluation criteria of Toastmaster Veera?
Thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you so much for the introduction. I hope everyone remembers the wisdom pearls from Magesh Das, Birbal. Today we are witnessing a speech by Toastmaster Geeta in the introduction to vocal variety and body language segment. The purpose of this project is for the member to practice using vocal variety or body language to enhance speech. The speech may be humorous, informational, or any style that the member chooses. I'll give my comments when I'm called upon at the evaluation session. With that, all the best to Toastmaster Geeta. Back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jayant, for explaining the objective of the speech. Now we have the speaker. She grew up in Trivandrum city, and she used to travel in ambassador class to school. But somehow she did not like going to school. And eventually she became a scientist after doing her post-graduation scholars, just because her father was pushing her to do it. And everything changed when her father passed away in 2006. She had to take the ownership of her family. She had to play the role of her father, which she really did well. And Toastmaster Vida, the speech today is well-rested future. Toastmaster Vida, well-rested future.
Imagine a world where you could unlock the full potential of your mind and body, where we wake up every morning fully refreshed, rejuvenated, ready to seize the world. Good evening, where you are. I am Geeta. I am doing my presentation mastery project 4 level 1 titled Well Rested Future. Dear Toastmasters, can you share the last time you had a sound sleep? How many of you remember that, or how many of you are experienced a sound sleep regularly? Do you know the terminology revenge bedtime procrastinator? It is nothing but a person who sacrifices sleep for what? To meet his work goals or to attend any social events. Dear Toastmasters, can you share the last time you woke up feeling fully rested and energized? These may be very simple questions, but they hold an important aspect of well-being, the sleep. Let me tell you a secret. Now I live with my husband. He's very particular about his sleeping habits. After 9:30, no lights, no blue lights, no electronic devices. My cousins used to tell me that there is a hostel, but he is a hostel warden, and no, we cannot call you after 9:30. He will not allow any phone calls. He will not. Yes. The Toastmasters here. I remember meeting a women scientist who was working with the STEM field, that is science, technology, engineering, mathematics field, who was very passionate on sleep research. I met her during a meeting convened on my behalf for a women scientist meeting at a national level, where a brilliant women scientist from a reputed organization from our city shared her passion on sleep research experiences. She was sharing that. I was excited hearing the thrills of empowerment of sleep research. Her name is Dr. Bumblebee. So during the meeting, I was curious to know more things, and I started asking, Dr. Bumblebee, whether sleep deprivation affects body language when a person is sleeping? or awake? Yes, yes, Geeta, of course. Lack of sleep deprivation can lead to a very slumped posture with a very drooping eyes, with a reduced energy levels. Dr. Bumblebee, whether sleep affects body language when a person is sleeping? Yes, of course. Sleep affects body languages in various ways. When a person is sleeping, body languages changes when they enter into different stages of sleep cycles. Dr. Bumblebee, could you please share some light on the stages of sleep cycles? Geeta, you know, there are various stages of sleep cycles, the REM and the non-REM cycles of sleep. And exploring the various stages of sleep not only deepens our comprehensions of its physiological importance, but also provides a fillip to our effort in improving sleep quality and overall well-being. Dr. Bumblebee, could you please share how do you delve into the world of sleep research? I once struggled with sleep and I have sleeping disorders. It was my personal experience that fueled my passion for sleep research and my dedication in promoting a healthy, well-rested future. Dr. Bumblebee, thank you so much for sharing all these wonderful experiences. Dear Toastmasters, as Dr. Bumblebee, the scientist, as she was recounting her stories, I couldn't help but relate to her experience. Once I had the sleeping problem and disorders to pursue on my postdoctoral experiences, only to realize the toll it took to my well-being. So let me conclude saying that turn off all your noise-making devices when you go to bed before 30 minutes for a quality sleep. Thank you, Toastmasters.
Thank you, Toastmaster Geeta, for that really nice topic about sleep. This is her level 4th project once. So with this project, she will be completing level 1. So give a big round of applause. So yeah, definitely you did not put everyone in sleep mode because Toastmaster Justin forgot to show the cards.
I was so involved in the speech.
So yeah. So back to our stories. Stories. I totally forgot. Speech word. Ring. That's how Jasna started her icebreaker speech. Perhaps 2 years back. Like everyone else, she joined the corporate world only to realize that there is an obstacle, a challenge to move forward. What is that? Gender bias. She had to convince everyone that she is capable of that role. And that's the transformational moment. Then she became the head of delivery. And perhaps what you are seeing here is what she is being headed by this Indian place. So Toastmaster Jasna is going to share the objective of Toastmaster Vinitha's class.
Thank you, Toastmaster Prakash, for that wonderful intro. I must have forgotten what my icebreaker speech was. Welcome, everybody. Sorry for the delay in joining. I got stuck in some meetings. As you see, being in your own office for the meeting. I'm here to be the evaluator for Toastmaster Vinitha's speech for the Pathway Persuasive Influence Level 1 Project 4. The purpose of this project is to practice applying feedback and serve as a speech evaluator during a club meeting. The purpose of the speech is for the member to demonstrate their ability to deliver an effective, respectful speech, evaluation speech. So all the best to Toastmaster.
Okay, our speaker is going to be Toastmaster Vinitha. He always wanted to be an English teacher. And eventually became an engineering teacher in engineering college. But she did not stop there. After seeing her students get into corporate world, she started exploring. And here she is now as a business analyst in Bit Solutions. With varying interests, that's not been only one thing. And of course, I think she said she is the daddy's little princess in her icebreaker speech correctly. So Toastmaster Vinitha is going to attempt level project 4 in level 1. That's her final speech in level 1. And it's a repetition of speech that she has already delivered. Sugar is not sweet as you think. Toastmaster Vinitha, sugar is not as you think.
Thank you, Toastmaster Prakash. So good evening, Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. Today I am here to expose the evil face of something that I love a lot, sugar. In recent studies, it is noted that obesity has been increasing rapidly in the recent years. And according to research, it says 1 out of every 3 child and 2 out of every 3 adults are suffering from obesity. There is another statistic which says that every 7 seconds, someone dies due to the complications from diabetes. In both those areas. Research states and the capacity of the human body to digest sugar is 10 tablespoons for men and 9 tablespoons for men for 1 day. And if we eat more than this amount of sugar, that sugar is going to be stored as fat in our bodies and it will be poison our organs. So dear Toastmasters, I want all of you to remember the situation. That is 1 tablespoon of sugar is equal to 4 grams of sugar. So let me show you an example. Can any of you guess how much sugar is there in this Pepsi bottle? Any guesses?
10 grams.
No.
33.
Yes. So that is exactly correct. It is 33 grams of sugar. So if we use our equation, 1 tablespoon of sugar is 4 grams. So 33 divided by 4 is approximately 8 tablespoons of sugar. And we need only 2 tablespoons per day. So this can, it's too much sugar. Now let's think about a milkshake. I'm a fan of milkshake. I love milkshakes. I know most of you also love milkshakes. Do you know how much milkshake, a McDonald's milkshake has, how much sugar it is there? It is 77 grams of sugar in 1 milkshake. And if you again use our equation, It is 20 tablespoons of sugar. Can you imagine that? How much harm this causes in your body? And I sometimes drink 2 milkshakes in one day. So dear friends, whenever you go and buy a product or you're going to drink something, just try to understand how much sugar is there. If you just read this nutritional fact table that is there over here, you can see how much sugar is there. And if it is more than the amount, always remember the equation, 1 tablespoon is 4 grams. So divide it and see if it is more, please don't drink that product. Now let me bring your attention to another scenario. We all go to the supermarket, and when we see a product with a label, gluten-free, healthy, organic, we don't blink our eyes, we just grab the product. Yes? And we are so happy I'm drinking a healthy product. But are you? Take the nutrition facts table and read it. And then again you will know that there is sugar content in it. And so if there is sugar content, what do you do the next time? Please keep the product back and don't use it. Now also you have to be aware of another thing. That is how these corporate companies, they impose sugar sneakily into our diets. Because when you take the table and you take the product and when you look behind, you will not find the words SUGAR. What will you find? You might find fructose, lactose, maltose, galactose, and so on and so forth. And what are all these things? They're not healthy. They are just alternative names of sugar. So dear friends, please be aware of all these alternative ways of sugar. Now, okay. So what should you all do? Should you just cut off sugar? I can't tell you that because I can't live without sugar. Whether it's cakes or ice creams or chocolates or milkshakes, everything I eat has sugar. Sometimes I eat idlis also with sugar. So sugar is a must for me. So then what do? So don't worry, there is always healthy replacements. The first thing that you can do is, you can actually make healthy desserts. You can make it at home. And when you put sugar, you can use healthy ways of sugar, alternative replacements, like white sugar, raw and unrefined sugar, Marara sugar crystals, palm sugar, all these kinds of sugar. Those are healthy. You can put in that and you can have your sweets, have your desserts. So, dear Toastmasters, when I read all these research and statistics, I was sad because I want to drink Pepsi. I want to drink milkshake. I cannot put it away. But what I realize is that it's high time that all these statistics is telling me to open my eyes. And that is what I'm going to tell all of you. I'm going to persuade you. Please, when you buy a product, check the facts. And if it is more sugar, you need only 2 tablespoons. Keep the product back. So dear Toastmasters, I would like to conclude by saying sugar is not a sweet. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vinita, for that really eye-opening speech. Sugar is not a sweet. So this is her again final speech in level 1. So give a big round of applause to her. So we talked about the typical story arc. You need to have a transformational change that you need to convey. And the stories that we have seen have that kind of pattern, that is having the avoiding or eliminating WhatsApp and social media, whether it is and becoming in the corporate world, facing the challenges of gender bias. So this transformational element is there in all our lives. But what kind of stories to tell? What stories you should tell? So you are going to a mall, assume, and you see your friend's mom there. You call your friend's mom, they are not picking up. So what would you do? You would be taking friend's mom to their home, only to realize that they were actually planning a surprise birthday party, you spoiled everything. It's what Srijit shared. But to share that story in front of an audience, you have to be vulnerable, right? You have to be honest, because you are basically shedding your egos and all the inhibitions you are eliminating, and you are sharing that story. That needs courage. So tell your own story. Telling other stories. And see, I don't feel terrified. I don't feel ashamed. Or there is no ego, hindering me sharing the stories of others. But if I wanted to tell my stories, then it's really difficult for me, because I will be looking at how others would perceive me. That's the first question that I think about. But unless if you share your own stories, you won't be able to connect with the audience. So the second point is, when you are sharing a speech, who do you care about that topic? What made you to talk about that particular subject? That's an important element that you want to convey. That's your story. There must be some element in you that you want to talk about this. So just focus on that. With that point, so we will be now moving to impromptu segment, table topics. We have Toastmaster Shilpa, and she's a new member, taking her, a big role, in fact, in her second speech. And actually, I prepared a story for Houston, but unfortunately, she changed her role. So I will be remembering as the icebreaker. So, Toastmaster Shilpa, she's an HR at ARS Transport. Traffic and yeah. So, Toastmaster Shilpa, the stage is yours.
Greetings, Toastmaster of the day, Prakash. Greetings to fellow Toastmasters. Table topic sessions enables members to develop the skills of informed speaking. It helps train members to quickly organize and express their thoughts. Speaker will be invited and given a topic. So the objective is to speak for 1 or 2 minutes on the topic, and please watch the timer show. You will get a grace period of 30 seconds to wind up, and beyond that you will be disqualified. And I'll also encourage each speaker to use the word of the day in your speech. So thank you, and let me randomly pick right. Yeah. I would go for Gita. Hello. You can see if anybody wants to volunteer.
Anybody wants to volunteer?
Anybody wants to volunteer in the online?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. So, my question is like, share a memory from your past that always brings a smile to your face.
Okay. Yeah, there are. Okay, we go through a lot of hard work in our learning curve, right? We go through almost 15, 16, 17 years of learning for what we don't know at many instances, but we do go through it, right? We go through the entire curve of learning all the types of subjects and whatever actually comes through our way, and we actually have some sort of an understanding of where we want to actually reach. So this is going back to my engineering days, where I wanted to actually do something very passionately. The reason why I joined engineering was because I wanted to actually be a someone who can be associated with something on aerodynamics, rocket and pilot and all those kind of stuff, right? So, and surely something that I would actually have hated is to actually become a software engineer. And this is something that I vocally told someone, or not someone, would have been actually multiple people in my, close surroundings as well, that there are few things that I do not want to do. One is that I do not want to actually be a software engineer, because I actually related to all those kind of examples at that point of time, share market and trading and computers going here and there and all that things, because of which I don't want to actually be a software engineer. Second thing is that I do not want ever to be in Chennai. I don't know why I had this aversion towards Chennai, but this is something that I really said to many people, and there are many other things as well. What I found is that having got an admission to electronics and communication engineering, and finally did some jobs here and there around that area, then finally I chose to be a software engineer and had been doing that for 18 years. There is something that I did not wanted to do, which was actually to even visit Chennai. I lived there for more than 4 years. That is another thing that I did, right? So one person who has been actually very close to me, which is my best friend, who has been studying with me from the small ages. He actually we used to actually keep on discussing about these aspects, and it's something that actually brings me a lot of joy and memories back, and also a learning that you do not need to actually hate something from your heart. Love everything, but do not hate. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster.
Yeah, you can explore it.
Okay, just want to overlook it. So, do you have a favorite movie that you still watch?
Hello, everyone. Thanks for the invite. I forgot your name. Shilpa. Shilpa. Okay. Thank you, Shilpa, for the invite. The topic is, do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite movie? I'm a huge fan of Shah Rukh Khan. I'm a diehard SRK fan. And the first movie that comes to my mind whenever anybody asks me about my favorite movie is DDLJ. It was a movie that taught me to fall in love, like right after watching that movie. And I watched the movie, I think 3 years after it released, when it played in the theaters again. I went to the theater when I was in like 7th or 8th standard, and then I watched the movie. And after that, desperately when I came out, I wanted somebody to fall in love with. I was like, give me a boyfriend, find me somebody who I can fall in love with. And then the feel of that movie literally stayed with me for like at least a week. Where I was like, oh my God, where is like my Shah Rukh? Where can I find him? How long will it take me to find somebody? But after a week, that wore off, and I was like completely fine, and then back to my normal self. But my favorite movie, like I said, is this one thing, which actually taught me to fall in love. And at any point in time, even after all these years, like I said, I was in 7th standard. Now, after all these years, it's still my favorite movie. Thank you very much for the topic, and really happy to be here. Thank you.
Toastmaster, I would go for the guests. Toastmaster, Sangeeta baby. Sangeeta.
Yeah, I hear you. Tell me, yeah.
So, have you ever reconnected with your old friends or family, after many years?
Yeah, definitely. That was particularly after the COVID pandemic period, and even the college friends, the colleagues, I got the chance to, catch up with them after the pandemic, and it was kind of really, how do we say it, when we meet people after a very long break, we feel like, that kind of an emotion we had, for the catch-ups.
Thank you, Sangeeta. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Anybody volunteer from here?
It's open to guests.
Okay.
We can see Jayant.
Yeah, next we come to online. It's like going in alternate way, offline, online. You can tell sound here. You can name.
Share a favorite food or dish that reminds from our childhood. I would invite Ajay.
Yeah, and say.
Ajay.
Hey, there are a lot of favorite foods for me, not this one. Thank you, Tilprash. So there are a lot of favorite food for me. First one is obviously kanji and payal and all those things I've been into in my childhood. So I continue that as one of the favorite. Other than that, biryani or whatever the normal favorites, like all of them are kind of favorites for me. But it changes time to time, right? So I don't know. I agree with him that if I say in this way of story telling, then it will be more catchy for you. So maybe next time I'll tell it as a story for you. So yeah, so getting into ages, when I found myself with this concepts of sugar makes it's actually not a sugar or this kind of, then the favorites has changed into something else. Right? So then oats gives me a flip, right, in these ages. So I do oats as one of the favorite these days. So favorites have been changing from time to time in terms of food and all of this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Postmaster Jain, so the next is there a place or location that you feel so nostalgic?
Am I audible?
Yes.
Very much.
Thank you for the opportunity. The most nostalgia that I have is when I think of Hyderabad. Hyderabad is a city where I first started my career, and it is where I met my wife, my then girlfriend. It is where we romanced around. So it is always it always has a special place in both of our hearts. I love the city because culturally it is a mix of old and new cultures there. You can go to the costliest, hi-fi restaurant there, or you can go to the very economical street food, junk food kind of places to have fun there. So there's a whole range of activities that you can do in Hyderabad. Not only before I met my present wife, I also met other people there, my friends, my film club, my readers club. So there's a lot of activity that you can do in Hyderabad. So Hyderabad has always been a very nostalgic place, beautiful people, beautiful food, beautiful history and culture there. I would encourage all of you to fill up yourself and go and visit Hyderabad once in a while. Not during summers. Please do not visit during summers. Try visiting during monsoon or during the winters. Back to you.
Thank you, Jayant. Next, please. Yeah.
Maybe you can take.
Subject. Which subject gave you the most nightmare from school days? Okay. Thank you, Toastmaster Shilpa. This was really nostalgic because she asked me the most nightmare kind of a question itself. Because the subject which gives me most nightmare is chemistry. Because I started learning chemistry from 8th standard, I remember. But even when I was in 10th standard, I didn't know anything. I didn't even know that table, that elements chart. And I was really feeling bad about learning about chemistry. But then I took science in +2. Again, there was chemistry. Again, I was thinking that, okay, maybe after my +2, I'll go to some other subject. But then everybody started talking about this engineering and medicine. So I thought, okay, I will do entrance, but unfortunately I couldn't get entrance. So imagine what was the degree I took. I took BSc Polymer Chemistry. So that's about the nightmare which happened in my life. But I passed my graduation with a first class. somehow I scored in my practicals rather than in theory. Even if you ask me today about anything about chemistry, I really don't think I can even give you the tables and charts and elements, but still, that was my nightmare, but still I love the practicals of chemistry. Thank you.
The color we want to make it to blue. Yes. So we will have time for 3 more. 3 more.
Okay. Who is next?
Online, you call online. You have topic read 3 more.
Yeah.
Online. And is just anybody 200 more?
Anybody volunteering here?
Radhika's. Yeah, Radhika.
Radhika, Toastmaster Radhika, share a funny story from your school days.
Funny story from the school days. Oh, I can recall a number of funny stories where I made a big fool of myself. And one of that was in my class, I was always this giggling child. I don't know why. I start laughing at the most inappropriate time. So in the class, when the teacher is taking a lesson, very serious about a poem, probably the Malayalam teacher is taking a class on the Ullur poetry, and he will be saying something very significant and prophetic, and at the most inappropriate moment, I'll start giggling. And when I start giggling, the whole class will also look at me, and then there is a laughter riot. And teacher gets really irritated, and then will ask me to come and start reading the poetry, that poem, in front of everyone. And there also, I'll read one word and will start laughing. And finally, the teacher will ask me to get out of the class, stand outside till you finish laughing. And so most of the Malayalam classes and also in Hindi classes, I used to be an outstanding student, meaning I always stand outside my classroom. That was, whenever I think about my school days, I remember this. Even when I'm meeting with my school friends, they all recall this story of me unnecessarily getting into a laughter riot and making them laugh, and then get caught by the teacher and ousted from the classroom. That was a circle that I got into. And even now, I have this habit of doing it. I guffaws, I will be and then suddenly, even in the most serious meetings, I do that. That is all. And then back to you, Table Topic Master.
Thank you, Radhika.
Two more topics.
Parvati?
Last topic, Hindi, 4 to offline.
Any nostalgic, nightmare about the parents teachers meeting in the school days? Yes.
Yeah.
I was very shy and a tongue-tied girl, and I was labeled as a talkless cat in the class. It's in Malayalam, it's called as Minda Puja. I was called as the talkless cat in the class. So whenever this progress card meeting and everything comes up, when my parents came, teachers used to say like, "Oh, Parvati is not interacting with anyone. She is always cornered." So that was always a nightmare for me all the time. So thank you.
Yeah, I would like to.
maybe college or school, anytime you bunked?
All of us have equal talent, but what differentiates is the opportunity we have to develop the talent. Something it is relevant to the topic. Why I am using it is for the grammarian's sake, because nobody will ever use that quote of the day. I want to bring that to attention. So coming back to the question, have you bunked your class? I was studying in a place which Anu hates the most. Right now you would have guessed what is the place is. It's Chennai. It's a very hot place. And I was in a college where the local people, I'm from Tamil Nadu and I'm a Tamilian. And I'm from the college where the number of Tamil people is far less than the number of other state people. So in my department EC, there were 60 people, out of which only 5 are from my state and the rest of the people are from Andhra, Kerala and North Indian. And most of them I used to bunk because I was the local guide for most of them. So whenever a North Indian friend will come, they will need to see a house, can you come and talk to the owner, and I will be the translator. Or Malayali will come and I want to look for a good restaurant, can you come with me? So most of the time, me being bunking the class is to help others in translating the language, local language, or guiding them to some places. But whereas when you come to office, when you started office or work, I got most opportunity to bunk, especially during Fridays, because we all know Fridays are days where we don't want to work. We have our head of delivery just now here, who will be very sad to know that most of us will agree to me. And Fridays or the Mondays are the very, very dreadful day to work. And those 2 days I usually want to bunk. And now I have the opportunity, I'm doing work from home. And just now, before coming to this meeting, I pinged my manager right before the meeting. I just want to say some reason. Usually it will be my wife is sick, my son is sick, or I am sick. This time I ran out of my ideas. I said my grandma is going to die soon. The thing is, my grandma is already dead. So next time I have to come up with some other reason. So fellow Toastmasters, it doesn't matter if you bunk your college or your office. What is more important is your time. How useful you use your time. If you are able to do something which is beneficial for you, like you do the Toastmaster meeting, I bunk my office, but I see this is very beneficial because I bunk for something good. So similarly, in your life, you have your girlfriends, your close relatives, or the things you like to do. Definitely bunk your office hours. Say to your manager you are sick and do a marathon training. Say to your wife that you want to go somewhere and do something which you like to do. So fellow Toastmaster, spend your time which you really love to do. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Big round of applause to you. I mean, this role really well, and the topics are really, really nice topics. And of course, we are going to remember DDLJ, Chennai, and all these stories. So, yeah, we have seen two aspects of the story arc, as well as your telling your personal stories. And the third thing is about when you are delivering a story or when you are writing a speech, it is always important to have the opening and closing. But there is a trick actually. The opening and closing are opposites actually. It should not be the same. If it is the same, then it's an award movie. Nobody wants to see that. So it should be exactly opposite. If you are in one state doing the opening, and you will be a different person at the end. So writing that out is really important. That will also help you to avoid these connectors, because we are linear thinkers to a large degree. We use and most of the times. Now the problem with the and is it goes in the same direction without any bumps and all those things. But in speech, you need to have bumps, you need to have zigzag movement. And how do you get that? You need to, whenever you want to use and, you need to replace that with the but, however, or any variations of but. So to give you one example, I am laid back and I don't want to get into activities. So this is how I say this with the connector and. Now I am laid back, but I cannot use the same sentence. I need to think something else, right? So that brings in another dimension to your speech. It gives a moment. And so that's the third point that I want to talk about. So with that, we are now ready for evaluation. So let me now invite our general evaluator to do the evaluation. Toastmaster Radhika.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Prakash, fellow Toastmasters. I'm back with my evaluation round. So for starting the evaluation, we have 3 segments. They were prepared speeches that has speech evaluators, and then I have the tag team as the general evaluators, team members who will be giving their feedback. And at the end of that, I will come back and do the general evaluation and also the evaluators evaluation as required. So we will start with the timer to understand the time taken for these prepared speeches, and then we can go to the evaluator for the prepared speeches. Starting with the timer now.
Prepared speeches.
Okay. Thank you, General Evaluator Toastmaster Radhika. So we had prepared speeches by Geeta and Vinita. Geeta, it was 7.30 minutes. And Vinita, it was 5.40 minutes. Thank you.
Super. So we will start with the first speech evaluator. And for that, I would invite evaluator Toastmaster Jayant on the screen.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator. Evaluating Toastmaster Geeta's speech, the first question that I had in mind was, is Toastmaster Geeta a rocket scientist? Because if you were lucky enough to witness her first speech and this speech now, it's like miles apart, right? It's a big leap of change that she has done in her speech. She has brought in a lot of vocal variety. She has brought in humor. She has continued the content style where it is very indulging, right? I see most of the audience members as well as the timer itself was so involved in the speech that they forgot their responsibilities. They forgot where they're sitting, right? So very indulging speech, very, the pace of the speech was very informative. So it was kind of like an education to everyone, and everyone was eager to listen to what you have to say regarding the most important, but let me say from my point of view, the most missed part of my life, which is a good sound sleep, right? Using alliterations, repetitive words like rest, refreshed, rejuvenating, all these kind of tips and tricks that she used in her speech captured our mind. She brought forward the scientist, Dr. Bumblebee, in front of her mind, and I am very sure that the questions that you asked to Dr. Bumblebee was very clear in our minds, and we remind ourselves of the dangers that we face regarding procrastination and not going to sleep on time. Although you have taken a big leap and taken your rocket to the moon with your speech, some weight could have been shed along the way. A lighter payload on your rocket would have made you reach your target much easier. For example, you could have cut down some of the dialogue or summarized the content in between so that your speech ends on time. Overall, I would say you brought in humor very perfectly. You brought in vocal variety where you were saying a secret, or you were talking about the passion and the energy about the doctor regarding speech. So that all vocal variety helped propelling your speech into outer space and into our minds. So I wish you all the best and continue the speech, continue the same content, try to sharpen it a little bit more, cut it down, give it some more molding, and I'm pretty sure you could easily attend this speech in any international stage. All the best, Toastmaster Geeta.
Thank you, evaluator Toastmaster Jayant, and well done, Toastmaster Geeta. So you have taken your speech to the next level. Bravo. And then the humor, definitely it has added the fillip to the whole session. So we have the next speech evaluator. So I'm just looking at the speech evaluator who is evaluating the speech delivered by Vinita, and I have Jasna here as the speech evaluator for the second speech. And her evaluation, she's doing this as a project, so the evaluation of the speech evaluation will be an added fillip to the to Jasna's speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Jasna, to evaluate your second speech.
Thank you, Toastmaster Radhika. I am here to evaluate Toastmaster Vinita's speech for Persuasive Influence Level 1 Project 4. I should say that you were well within time. 5 to 7 minutes in the speech, you crossed 5 and did not cross 7, so like that was good. I felt like the body language, that it was like literally perfect for me. I think maybe it is a training in exhibitions that is given you to, push yourself up down the line. But the body language, the way the gestures that you used when you said like 2 tablespoons, and do you know how much sugar is there in this bottle? So all the gestures were very effective. I saw that you were actually connecting with the crowd and people were listening to you, and you were also interacting with them when you were asking the questions and they were actually responding back to you very well. So overall, you had actually captivated the audience. People were looking at you, people were trying to respond, and I saw that everybody was like completely focused. So that was like really good. The voice modulation, I felt, went well from the beginning up to a 75% of where you were. Towards the end, I felt some jerks and there were some points of improvement, maybe like to control your breathing. I felt like you were pausing a lot and trying to take breaths, and your flow of speech towards the end kind of grab speed. So maybe that is a point that you can improve. Eye contact. I felt like the eye contact was like literally perfect. You kind of connected with each and every person in the audience. I'm not sure how much the online people could see you, because the body was a little tilted. So maybe that is one thing. Once when you are in a hybrid meeting with online and offline people, maybe you can also tilt towards the crowd, look at the screen here, and then go back to the audience. So I'm doing the speech. I'm trying to look directly at her and trying to give the speech, but then I'm also tilting myself so that the online audience can see. So maybe that would give your speech a little bit of importance, and all through the crowd, whether it's people who are sitting right in the office or people who are sitting online, both of them will feel like the interaction is actually better. I thought there was like 1 or 2 points that could be improved. One was the clarity in some words that you were using, like for example, the pronunciation fructose, not fructose. So there were some improvements there that could be done. Also, there were some small grammatical mistakes, but then we can take that offline. And after listening to your speech, I literally thought, oh my God, the amount of sugar that I'm consuming, I really need to curb it down. So thank you very much. It was really nice listening to you, and all the very best.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, speech evaluator Jasna. And so that was, we have covered both speeches, and now we can come to the tag team. So to the tag team, I would request the timer to give the timings for the rest of the sessions, and then we will go to the R counter and the grammarian. When I am concluding, I can give the feedback and the evaluation for Jasna's evaluation and feedback segment. So timer, would like to call upon Houston. You're back. Yes.
Thank you, Toastmaster Radhika. So I will be giving you the timings for table topics. We had Anu, 2 minutes, 20 seconds, Jasna, 1.21, Sankita, 40 seconds, Ajay, 1.01.
This froze for us, right?
So the audio is post. Yeah, you're back.
Okay. Am I
now we can hear you.
Okay, all right. So I was mentioning the table topics timing. Now for evaluation, both of Jayant as well as Jasna, you both were on time. Jayant took 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Jasna took 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Thank you so much. Back to Larry.
Thank you.
Table toes, yeah. Table toes all are qualified, right?
1 minute, right? This is Sankita and
Okay. Yeah.
Apple.
Yeah, Radhika, go ahead.
Okay, so that means there were a few short of 1 minute, few exceeded the 2 minutes, 30 seconds, but everybody had a solid body to talk about. That was good. So Dave, we are saying that all of them are qualified, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Great. And so we will now come to Srijit for our counter feedback and the report.
Thank you, Radhika. Prakash has used on off, on and to source. Vinitha, you have used source so repeatedly, twice. Vidaman, on off. Jayendas used 2 hours. Houston, 1 hour. Sangeeta used a couple of times and twice. Shilpa, you used twice. Ajay, you used so repeatedly 4 times. And Radhika, you used twice and twice. Anu, 2 times and 2 times. Jasmine, yours twice. That's it. And back to Radhika.
Thank you, accountant Srijit. And then we have the grammarian here, Anup Kumar. So, Toastmaster Anup Kumar for your report.
Okay. Let me know once you're able to see my screen. So, a lot of good thoughts or words that were actually used, phrases that were used in the all the speeches today, starting with T. Modi Prakash using the rags to riches, story arc, sleep mode, transformational moment, being vulnerable. Toastmaster Jayant using wisdom pearls as one of these sayings. Geeta, TM Geeta using alliterations for rejuvenation, rushed, etc. Toastmaster Vinitha using exposed evil face, do not blink our eyes, open my eyes. Just now using the die-hard fan, say. Jayant using special place in my heart, and then finally the from TM Radhika, the prophetic and more prophetic moment, and the outstanding student in a different way, right? Those who used a word of the day, we had Radhika using it twice during the GE speech and for the intro for the speech evaluation. Toastmaster Geeta and Jayant used it once during their speeches, one in prepared speech and during the table topics. Quote of the day, it was Toastmaster Dev who used it. From an improvement point of view, not many. Typical usages. For example, one of the instances was with the TM Vinitha, where now also being used. You could actually avoid using that phrase and probably rephrase it and use a better. Do it in a better way. TM Prakash, the trick actually, right? So actually, word being used after many of the sentences, probably it can be rephrased better for a better impact. Back to you, Toastmaster Radhika. Thank you.
Super report, Toastmaster Anup, and thank you, all of you. Before we wind up, I just wanted to look at and move to the next segment of the Quizmaster session and also the winding up. I just wanted to look at the flow of the event for the day. It has been seamlessly managed, even though it is a hybrid meeting. So it has started on time, and then it is progressing as per schedule. And also, it is good that the transition from online and offline is perfectly managed. It's one good thing we are doing is we are making use of the technology so well, and that is helping us connect beyond particular constraints of a place. And so we have become truly global now. I remember Anup Jayant talking about his favorite place, isn't it? Was it Anup?
Jayant,
It was
Hyderabad.
it was Jayant. He mentioned Hyderabad as his favorite place. And then, I'm connecting from Hyderabad with the help of technology, and I can relate to whatever you have been talking about the city. And the table topic master, you have been brilliant with all those interesting personal connects. Every topic, every question you threw at the audience, it had a personal connect. And definitely, we had the evaluators who were brilliant and who are seasoned evaluators now. They know how to look at a speech and then find the best things and give the feedback with the right amount of critical feedback, which can improve the speaker's next speech. And then there's a lot to learn, not just for the speakers, but all of us attending the meeting. So thank you, evaluator Jayant and evaluator Jasna, for your wonderful feedback. And today I have an additional role of giving feedback to the evaluator as part of her project. Jasna is doing her pathway, that is engaging humor. And then she is into the a project where she will be evaluating the speech of a team member and then doing this project. So when I'm looking at the evaluation of Jasna, what she had told in this segment, she had used all those techniques when we are giving feedback to one of our colleagues or anybody to improve upon them or help them improve their act or skill. And then, Jasna had beautifully recited or repeated what Vinita has said. So the personal connect and the listening skills had played a role in there. She had pinpointed a couple of words, sentence, good usage, and repeated it. And the segment of giving the right feedback, the positive things in the beginning of a feedback segment was beautifully done. And then, she had used the sandwich theory, where you are packing the improvement areas in the middle of the feedback section. So the person who is being evaluated feels a fillip when they are hearing the good things about their speech. And then they look at, okay, these are the things that needs to improve. And when that critical feedback is given, it doesn't hurt either, because it is beautifully sandwiched between the positive things during the session. So this is what I call appreciative inquiry, when we are elevating the person for doing more of what they are good at, and then telling them, okay, also please look at these areas where you need to improve, and then saying, okay, overall, what are the highlights? So just now you have done a wonderful job of evaluating a person, and you have used humor in that. You have added humor, body language, and tips about, how to do the hybrid meeting. All that has been perfect, and thank you very much for that. Incidentally, I do not have an area of improvement that I can give you for this particular feedback. So I'm also learning to listen more and pick up words that I can repeat when I'm talking back to the person. I'm also struggling to remember names. That also an improvement area I am working on. So thank you very much. It was a learning for me as well. And all of you, thank you for this beautiful evening. I'm handing over the mic back to the Quizmaster of the day, or Toastmaster of the day, Prakash.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gavita and team, for that really nice feedback. And your evaluation of evaluation, the Christopher Nolan moment was really well appreciated. So, Dave, are you going to connect the session?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe you can take a picture online and ask them to take a snap of it. Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay.
No, we'll do that. I will do it.
I'm going to take that.
Yeah. So, good evening once again. We are back to the last session, and this session is all about what Radhika wants to improve. Listening skills. So, I think if you guests are here and you are joining very first time, the rules are simple. I have questions related to the speech which you have heard till now. So, once I ask the question, if for example you can speech, you cannot answer, others can answer. Just to know who has answered first or who knows the answer first, just tell your name first. Request every online participants to unmute because a lot of time classes may come. Please unmute yourself. Once I ask the question, if you know the answer, tell your name. So whoever name I hear first, I'll call them for some priority. Right? Clear? And later we'll have a winner as well. So the first question is, what part of storytelling Prakash is more focused today? Doing his emoji address.
R.
Tell your name.
Oh, Srijit.
Yes.
R type.
No.
Radhika.
Yes. Radhika.
Science.
Yeah. I know. Radhika gets 1 point. Moving on. What is the word of the day and quote of the day? Philip.
Houston.
Tell your name.
Philip.
Okay. Quote of the
Quote
day.
of the day is everybody doesn't have talent, but you will have opportunity to have the talent by APJ Abdul.
Yes. Okay. So Yushin gets 1 point. Then moving on. What kind of stories do you like to hear? Prakash told something. What kind of stories we love to hear?
Houston.
Geeta, personal stories.
I heard Yushin name first. Yeah, Yushin.
Something motivational from bad to good.
Not exactly, but
Rich to rat to rich.
exactly. Houston gets 1 more point. The answer is rags to riches story. Moving on. What is the title of Geeta's speech?
Radhika.
Yeah, Radhika.
Well-rested future.
Exactly. So Radhika gets 1 point. I think both are good listeners. So in Prakash's speech, he mentioned about one icebreaker speech which you like.
Houston.
Vinita?
The retreat of Jasna's speech.
Exactly. So Vinita gets 1 point. The icebreaker speech is Jasna's speech. So what Jasna has faced in her career, like what was that which Prakash mentioned?
Gender bias.
Okay. Gender bias. The answer is gender bias. So till now it is Vinita 2, Radhika 2, Yushin 2. All three are 2. Rest of us come back. Name the brilliant scientist which Geeta ma'am mentioned in her speech.
Houston.
Anup,
Radhika.
Bumblebee.
I heard Yushin name first.
Dr.
Okay. Go on.
Anup.
Radhika.
Okay, I'll give points to all 2 points to each. Okay. Next question is what is the equation? 1 can of Pepsi is
Houston. Houston. Cheaper. 2.
Sangeeta.
It is wrong.
Shilpa.
Shilpa?
4 grams.
No.
33.
33. 33. I request online participants if you have any challenge, let me know.
Delay, I think.
Okay, so there is a delay maybe. That means you have to come to office, be the winner. Okay. What is the alternate source of sugar which Vinita suggested? Ajay.
Yes. Some palm sugar
Yeah,
and jaggery is something that she mentioned.
exactly. So palm sugar and those things, Ajay is correct. And what is the conclusion message of Vinita? She had a message at the end. No, you cannot. Shilpa?
Sugar is not as sweet.
Yes, so sugar is not as sweet is correct. So right now Shilpa 2, Vinita 2, Yushin 2, Radhika 2, Srijit and Ajay 1-1. Okay, they are in a close tie break. Yes, Sangeeta, she mentioned about emotional feeling during certain situation. What was that? The reason in a speech, in a table topic speech. Is Jayant okay? Yes, Sangeeta.
Nostalgia. Radhika.
Yes, Radhika.
Meeting people after COVID. Nostalgia.
Exactly. So Radhika gets 1 point again. Okay, Radhika is leading now. She has a 3 point. Moving on, favorite food of our guest Ajay.
Houston, can you pardon, can you? Can you Chamandi?
Okay, which was correct? Okay, I'll give off a point. Okay, moving on. What was the Ajay's nostalgic place?
Houston, Hyderabad.
Houston. Okay, Houston 3, Radhika 3, Vinita 2. We'll move on. What was Houston's subject which was giving most nightmare to her?
Ajay.
Yeah, Ajay.
Yeah, she said chemistry.
Chemistry, bang on, correct. So Ajay also gets 1 point. What does she study? Houston mentioned about
Ajay. Polymer chemistry.
BSc. Okay, it was exact answer. Ajay again 1 point.
Ajay is leading.
Yeah, Ajay, Radhika, Houston all are tied break with 3 points each. Okay. Radhika in her speech mentioned about a particular class where she was an outstanding student.
Houston, Shilpa. Houston.
Yeah.
Malayalam.
Okay, one Malayalam. Another language?
Hindi.
Okay. So Houston, Ajay gets one point. The point is now Houston 4, Ajay 4, Radhika 3. Okay. Guess Parvati mentioned about some Malayalam word. What was it?
Malayalam. Houston.
Houston gets 1 point. Okay. Coming to this is the last couple of questions. Jasna mentioned 2 feedback about Vinita's speech. I just want the first feedback first.
She mentioned about
Ajay, yeah.
some grammatical things as well as something
Fructus.
First feedback is what? First feedback.
Houston.
Fructus.
Sorry?
Fructose.
Fructus.
They also
Fructose.
No, not first feedback, very first feedback. That was also a
Body
feedback.
language.
good feedback, sir.
Gestures.
Yeah, no.
It was timing.
Yeah, and Ajay gets control reading, like the flow of speech was very fast at the end. That was the first feedback. And what was the second feedback? Not even the second feedback, one more feedback.
Kept eye contact with everyone also.
Exactly. So, so the winner for listener is just guest Ajay is a winner. Back to you. So one more thing, I have just posted the polling in your chat in Zoom. I will post it in WhatsApp as well. Please post your vote. Later our president will announce the winner. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you, Master Dave. That was a really fun-filled session. So, back to our story. Stories, play an important role in our lives. Like I mentioned initially, it shape our beliefs. It all the rules, all the values, all the culture that we embrace is just mere stories. So start telling your stories, your own stories, following and the really transformational moment. Just look at that. You'll be surprised to learn that you have so many stories with there. So whenever you are telling the stories, just remember, it shapes your beliefs. It helps you overcome your egos, being more courageous. When you tell a story, you are not simply telling a story. We are not telling a story at all. It's who we are. We are all just stories. So, thank you. Again, please all do the voting. I'll take that. You have close. Yeah. With that, I will be handing over the control to our President, Toastmaster.
What happened?
You have to make me announce it again.
We'll take some, just ask everyone to vote because it's not done.
Okay, fellow Toastmasters, please vote. And as soon as you're done, we'll announce the results.
Yes, and request everyone in the online to come on video so that we have a snap of you.
Can I be online so that my videos?
Yeah, you are there.
Yeah.
So Sangeeta, Radhika, please come on video. Yeah.
I need to change the view.
Yes, Radhika, if possible. Okay. Thank you. 3, 2, 1. Done. You can speak something.
I think we missed the rest of the crowd.
You can give a message. It will take some time. Only 4% have voted. So if you have any contribution, you can see.
Okay, so Dev, to be frank, you boosted the entire mood of the meeting, and it reminded me of the tug of war that we attended in Techno Park for the Women's Day. Houston was there, I remember. And before entering that, we were all spiked up, like we need to pull, we should not let go, we should pull with a full swing, you hold your legs like that, and so on and so forth. And once we started pulling, what happened was the other team was stronger than us. They pulled even harder. They pulled and pulled, and after some time, the rope did not budge, neither towards the left nor towards the right. And you know what they did? All of them just lied down on the floor, and then lying down, they started pulling. Slowly, what we felt we were moving towards the front, and then they pulled us all the way to the end. What I felt was that this was a strategy that nobody used before, and we thought it would disqualify them. So we went to the conductors of the meeting, conductors of the events, and we told them, see, they were lying and pulling. They're like, yeah, there are no specific rules. You should have already listened to the rules in the beginning. So what we did was, we saw how they were lying and pulling, and the second match that we went to, we were standing, but then very soon we said, okay guys, lie down. So all of us were on the floor, and we used the same strategy the other team used to win. At the end of the day, I think Toastmasters is also something like that. We use strategies that we learn from all the others around us, and we see how to improve and how to win and how to succeed in life. Thank you very much to everybody who's joined today. And we will be announcing the votes.
You get the feedback. Yes, it's only 6 responses. There are 14 people online. So Zoom meeting, you have the link in chat. Request everyone to put their votes. Please, if you have done, you can raise your hand or put a message in the chat if you have done. And offline, you can share the link to them if you have the contact.
Okay. So Sangeeta, I see that you've joined us today as guest. How did you feel the meeting was? What was your overall feel?
Yeah, it was totally, an interesting one, and the topics were really, amazing: sleep, sugar, etc. And the table topics were also, a little bit interesting, and it was totally. Actually, as I was new to this session, I did not know the process or steps involved, or how it has been structured. But today I got an idea on, how the meetings will go, per meeting. So it was totally, very good experience, and I learned many things from this meeting.
Really happy to hear that. Looking forward to you joining our club as well. You can always contact Yusi for further details, and she'll be happy to see you.
Sure.
Which company are you from?
I'm from Thoughtline Technologies, which is in phase 3.
Okay, all right, nice to meet you. So yeah, you can just walk right in. We are also conducting this event also on phase 3.
Yeah, I'll try to attend one meeting offline also. Actually, I wanted to attend one offline, but I thought, today I'll join online.
It's always a different experience to be right in front of people and try to present your speech. So it's always preferable to try offline. So next time, do come. We'll let you know when the next meeting is.
Okay, sure.
Yes, sure.
Any of the other people of joined? Parvati, would you like to share your feedback? How was the meeting? How did you like the group?
Yeah, it was very nice. Definitely, I will come again.
Okay, really nice to hear that feedback. This is you work with Yusin, I think, all the time. No, all this I guess that's right. I was thinking all of them are apart from ARS because of the same color. Where do you work? From Tata Lexi. Okay, so.
Prakash, I told you, Prakash is going on. I spoke here.
Okay, so we have 2 people from Tata Lexi meeting each other. This is nice, interesting. Ajay, would you like to share your feedback?
Yeah, I feel excited. I feel time is made valuable to me in all aspects. And thanks Yusina because she was encouraging me to join there. It is all like an eye opener for me to have a good forum of people around me with the what you call like-minded people, right? It's a good to have every week this activity. I enjoy it.
Really nice to have you on board. You can again contact Yusin to just be a part of the club and do try to come in for offline meetings.
I was telling her that I'm preferring offline meetings instead of online. Online, I'm already having too much meetings obviously. Having online.
Yeah, we have it offline every 2 weeks so that we can actually come together and see faces, move your hands, talk to people, show your gestures, and then you go.
Especially now we are doing work from home, right? So too much of work from home. Maybe like
Right. Do we have any other guests or?
that's it.
Okay. You are beyond. So the best role, so I'm just gonna, so this is the last part of the meeting where we have some best role players being announced. So the best role player for today is Dave as well as Radhika. Two of them share the best role player.
This one tag.
Okay, so best of the tag team is grammarian Anu. The best speech was the one that was given by Geeta. Best evaluator was Jayant. Best of
Both gained equal votes.
Jayant and
You.
oh, that's me. Okay, so okay, right. We both got equal votes for that. Thank you. Best of okay. Okay, the best person who went for the table topics was Jayant, and the best listener is our guest Ajay. So thank you to everybody for joining and congrats for all the winners. With this, I'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you. Thank you everyone for
Thank
joining.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Have a good evening. Bye.